Hey guys, Morgan's Maintenance. Today's tour review, we're going to be looking at a new 4-plane laser from CIGMAN. So they have sent me several lasers over the course of time, and all of them have worked out pretty well for me. The 3-plane laser lives in my truck. It's probably by far my most used laser, but every now and then I need a 4-plane laser, and that's where these come in. So previously they sent me the CM-S02. I think I did that in a tool haul video. I don't think I did like a review video for it, but I talked about it and talked about why you might would want to use a 4-plane laser. Well, they have this newer model now, the S04. It comes with some upgraded features. It's not really any different of a laser aspect. Like all the brightness, all the settings, all those things are pretty well identical between the two. But this kind of comes with some upgrades to make it warrant that little bit of an extra price, because the S02 comes in normal price at $199. It's on sale, I think, right now for $152. And then the S04 comes in at $240 regular price. I think right now it's on sale for $210 or something like that. Ultimately, between the two, you're going to kind of get the same results, but you have to decide for yourself, is it worth that price increase to get some of the upgraded features on this laser? That's my goal behind this video, is to kind of share with you the differences between the S02 and the S04, in case you've been kind of looking at both of them and you're kind of saying, I don't know which one I should get, all those kinds of things. And then I'll show you the practicality of using a 4-plane laser, like why you might want one of those over a 3-plane. As always, hopefully the goal by the end of this is you'll have the information to help decide if either one of these are a right fit for you. But let's go ahead and get into the differences. So as we start talking about the differences of the S04 and the S02, one of the glaring things is going to be the case itself. So the S02, you're going to get this soft shell case. I kind of call it a hard soft shell case. It is one of those, it's kind of like a sunglass case is what I typically say about it. We open this up, it is opened and closed by a zipper, that you have right here. If you open it, you're going to get your stand. You're going to get this adjustable stand right here. Remote control, the laser itself, 2 batteries. One is inside the laser. You're going to get one here extra as well. Metal plate, a green target card, and a charging cable. All that comes included inside of the S02. And every one of these accessories are exactly the same as we move over into the S04. One of the key differences is going to be the actual case itself. So you got this soft shell type case, and now we've got a hard plastic case, and instead of having a zipper, we've got latches. So I think this would definitely work better for someone, if you're someone who throws your things around a little bit more. I'm not saying you would throw either one of these, but it's just a little bit more protected. If your truck is a little bit tighter fit between your other items, you got stuff smashing up against one another, this case is definitely a little bit stouter. But again, if you open it up and compare it to the S02, many of these things are exactly the same. You got the same remote control. You got the same stands. It's exactly the same. If I pull them out and put them right next to each other, the only difference is going to be the control knobs on this one are orange and the control knobs on this one are red, but they're identical as far as the stand and adjustment stands that you're going to be able to get with each one of those. I think I've got them backwards now. So exactly the same on those. You're going to get the target card. You're going to get that metal bracket. You're going to get this battery. I've got another battery in here, so 2 batteries included. Here is your charging cable, the same as what's over here. The 2 new things that you get inside of this is you do get a tripod adapter to go from the 1/4-20 to that bigger size. I can't remember what that is off the top of my head. I never used that, but you do get that there. And then with this one, you also get this lanyard. That's kind of a new piece to this one. It has a slot on the laser itself right in here. So you would tuck that through, put it through itself, and now you've got like a flexible cord. So if you're hanging this somewhere, and of course, it's obvious you don't want to drop it very far and cause it to hit the ground. It's a calibrated instrument. That's nice that they now provide you with this. But ultimately, what you've got with the difference as far as accessories and things that you're gaining, a hard case, a adapter for your tripod, and then a safety lanyard, in case you want to tie off your laser to keep it, if it does fall off of something, from dropping and hitting the ground. So those are the differences in the case and accessories. Now let's talk about the laser. That's the main reason. That's the main thing that you're going to want to look at. And I've changed the lighting in here a little bit. You're going to see some shadows. I did that so you'll be able to see the screen a little bit easier, and then also the lines. I can see both of them just fine with my lighting on. It just doesn't come across in video as well. So with the CIGMAN S04, you can see front and center. One of the key differences is going to be a bigger LCD screen. The S02, it's up here on the top, a little bit smaller. And with that screen, it actually comes in handy, especially if you're using tripods or something like that, because you have to have this a certain level. It's self-leveling, but it has to be within a certain parameter for it to actually work. If you're way off, if I turn this on, you'll see that screen come on. if I'm way off, it's going to start blinking at me and say, you got to get this thing a little bit more level for me to be able to use it. So that gives you your X and Y. So as long as you're within a little bit, it's going to stay solid, but you'll see if I kind of cock it a little bit, it starts blinking. So you have to have it within that range, where it's not blinking at you. And then here is also another spot where you can control everything on the laser if you want to. You can turn on the horizontal and vertical lines by pressing the H's and V's. You can see the green changing around there. The power button also allows you, if you press and hold, you can turn on pulse mode. That's going to allow you to use a line reader. So in situations where you're outside maybe and you can't see your laser quite well, if you have a line reader, you can use that in pulse mode and bring this over. You can kind of see my green line hitting on my laser line. I can get and use that from a lot farther away. It's basically there in case you need to use it. That's not included in the package with your lasers. Either one of these don't come with a line reader, but both of them are capable of using a line reader if that's something that you want to use it with. This is also a place where I can press and hold now and get out of pulse mode, turn that off, and now I can basically cycle through brightness levels. Let me see if I can get it to where it's not blinking. You can see that line at the bottom changing brightness levels of the laser in case you need a little bit finer line or you want to save some battery. And then you can also get to a strobe mode where it's actually going to make your line kind of pulse in that way. Sometimes it's easier to see that in certain situations, so it's nice that it has that. Again, this is just one of the places. Let me turn that off or that's going to drive you crazy. That's one of the ways in which you can control it. Also included with it is this remote control where I can turn the horizontal ones on and off. I can go around and change the vertical ones on and off. All those things are available with this remote control as well. And then both of them can also be controlled by the app. I have to do that on my phone in which I'm recording this on. So I'll put like a little screen recording of using the app, but all the same functions that you find here. And on this remote control, you can also use your phone and do the same exact thing. Ultimately, this larger to read LCD screen and on the side front and center is the main difference between the S04 and the S02. If I turn the S02 on, it's going to be up here at the top. You can kind of see the same X and Y values. It's not in color or anything like that. You're not able to see any of the lines that you're turning on and off. So this one just has a little bit more functionality in the screen itself. But again, both lasers perform exactly the same. You're going to get that same cross line. You're going to get that same 360 degrees in a horizontal and two verticals. You got two different verticals, but the biggest thing is with a 4-plane, you've also got one. Let me turn the bottom horizontal on as well. You've also got another laser line you can see right here, and that's where the 4-plane laser comes into play. Let me grab a tape measure real fast. It is the difference of if I'm going to measure something within 5 inches off the ground, then I can make it happen. So basically anything above 5 inches, I can probably make happen with a 3-plane laser using only the top horizontal. But if I'm ever doing anything, I'm at a 1/2 inch is the difference. That's a 1/2 inch off the floor with using that bottom plane. So if you are someone who levels maybe subfloor, you do tile showers, tile work off the ground, whatever it is, that's where that 4th plane comes in handy. I don't need a 4th plane all the time, but there are some certain jobs where I get this out. So this isn't maybe a laser that, unless I only buy one, I would buy one if I did that at all, because I'm going to need that feature. But since I already have some 3-plane lasers that are a little bit smaller and more compact, those are my day-to-day ones, are a 3-plane, because with the 3-plane, I'm going to get the plumb bob. I'm going to have a dot here on the ground along with the same X up above me on the ceiling. I'm going to have 360 degrees with 2 different vertical lines, and then also that top horizontal line. The main thing that I'm getting with that 4th plane is if I'm doing something low to the ground, because again, you could put this on that little plate, that adjustable plate, and go between a 1/2 inch and 5 inches. Whereas with a 3-plane with only one line on the top, you're going to have to start at that 5-inch mark. That's the key difference between these. Now, as far as laser brightness and all those things, this is as bright and works just as well indoors and outdoors as any other laser. I just recently used this on a job outdoors. It was a shaded area, but I was installing some windows. I used it there. I could see these lines the same as I could see any of my other lasers lines. Now, sometimes you can't see them outside very well, but this one performed in the same amount of way. So even if there are times where you're not going to be able to see this outside, pretty good chance you're not going to be able to see any other laser as well. So if we bring the stand over here, let me just show you how it works. Here is the S04 on the stand that it comes with. It has several nice features. It is magnetic, so you can stick it on metal things. I use these on like rolling scaffolding and stuff all the time, or metal doors in commercial spaces. You do still have a spot up here where you can put a screw somewhere, hang it on that, and get your adjustments at that point. Now, it is a little bit top heavy, especially if you go raising it up at this point. So it does have these feet that kick out. That's going to stabilize your base a little bit, make it a little bit stronger. You have a lock and unlock on this side so that you can lock it and make sure it doesn't move after you get it set. But you can also micro adjust as far as raising and lowering. So again, you're with a 4-plane, you're going to have the ability to start out here or here. And so if there's anywhere in between here that you want to put your level line, you're going to have that ability with a 4-plane and not a 3-plane. So you can raise it up and down. You can also take this one is moving this whole entire thing in and out. Now you can only go so far back with that because you're going to start hitting here unless you turn this way. You might can see how I'm adjusting it. It takes quite a while to make the adjustments. It's a pretty micro adjust right there, but that's moving this whole entire slide in and out. So if I had this vertical line shining somewhere, I can essentially move that a little amount at a time. Then you have these two knobs here. This one right here adjusts as far as this table sliding left and right. You probably won't be able to see that much because it's such a fine micro adjust. And then this one right here is the one that's going to spin your entire laser in a micro adjust circle 360 degrees. So decent amount of adjustment on it. Decent stand in my opinion for the price that you're paying. That's sometimes, as I said in every laser video, when you move into paying $600 for a laser level, the laser, in my opinion, probably performs about the same. It's some of the accessories and things. Those are what you're really paying for when you spend big bucks. But overall, the stand's not that bad. But let me show you the number one thing that I love about the CIGMAN lasers, and that is the fact that you really have multiple power options. Because one of the big concerns is these batteries. What if I can't find these later? I've been told that these are pretty prevalent batteries out there for like camcorders and all sorts of things. So you can probably find those. So you can take and charge these batteries right here with the USB-C cable, have that set into the side charging while you're using your second battery, which is the one that I have in here. Or you can plug it up directly and charge it right here using a charging block and a USB-C cable. But the nice thing is you cannot even have a battery in here altogether and then plug it up with your USB-C cable and basically use it as an AC powered 4-plane laser and use it in that way. Or even better is, let's say something happens to those batteries and you can't find them later. If you've got a power bank or something along the lines of a Milwaukee top off like I have here, I can plug it up USB-C, turn on my USB port, and now I can turn it on and power up my laser in that way as well. You can see that it's powering up. No batteries in there at all. I'm running it off my M18 battery. So I basically have an M18 3-plane laser, or actually 4-plane laser with this one. That is by far my favorite feature of all the CIGMAN lasers. But there you go, guys. There is the CIGMAN S04 4-plane laser, the upgraded model of the S02. Again, hopefully you can decide now, do you want a bigger screen and harder case and a lanyard? You can pay a little bit more money for that. Or if you want to save a little bit more money, you can get yourself a little bit softer case, a little bit smaller screen, or even then you can save a little bit more money if you're someone who says, I would never need that like laser closer to the ground. I think I could get by with a 3-plane. Maybe that's the better fit for you. I will say I've been using these CIGMAN lasers for over a couple of years now, and I've had no issues with them. I feel like the accuracy is right there on par with any of my bigger name brand lasers. And I absolutely love the fact that you can use the battery that's included. You can plug a charger directly into the wall and power them up, or you can plug it up to a power bank. That feature alone is really fantastic, and I don't think you'll ever find that like in a Milwaukee, Bosch, or any of those kinds of things. So it's a very nice feature, very nice level for the price, in my opinion. Again, I'm just trying to help you decide if any of these are the right fit for you. Hopefully you got that information in this video. As always, I hope it was helpful. You guys stay safe. Have a blessed day. I'll see you on the next video.